Okay, I got this gear pressed out of here now. So this racing trap door here, it's got a double row ball in here. So a nice big fat one, electric start only. And then I also cut it out and put a big ass bearing in here. I had to braze this up here to get more material because I made it so big. So it's the same diameter as a stock Harley roller, but it's a hell of a lot bigger diamond rollers on it. So it'll take way more load. So it's the same size as that one, see? It's got just, not to worry about that destroying itself. Stock rollers are 77 thou thick. These ones are probably 1/8 inch or better in thickness. Doesn't sound like a lot of difference, but it's a big difference. So it's got a lot of clearance in it too, as you can tell by that. Nice and loose. Alright, so that's how that works. Whoop. So what I need to do now is figure out the distance in this. So this is the one that was, this here is the one that was on it, and this is the new one. So what I can do is I can put them on here and get a measurement from here to here. And that's what I'm going to do. And then we'll see what the difference is. Let's see how much of a real change we have here. Okay, so this is the old one. We just go all the way until it hits. It'll give me a reference number from this edge here to the top of the dog. Looks like about 1961. Turn 180 degree. Try a different dog. .65 or so. 60. Nope. 55 there. 67 there, so there's a little bit of taper in these dogs. 58 or so. It didn't look like it was angle ground, but it is. Yep. Okay, so something around 60, give or take a little. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a rough number to go by. I'm sure it's way less than what a stock gear is. So looks like we're only about 10 thou difference. 71. Yeah, 72, 71. So 10 thou is the only difference we got here. Not a big change, obviously. And I'll probably pick that up when I put a little chamfer in there, because I'm sure I'm hitting down here where I don't want to be hitting. So one way to tell how well you're hitting at is you can, if you had access to put a feeler gauge in, you can put a feeler gauge in there and see the difference. Or you can put a felt tip mark in there and just rotate it and see what it does. So that's what we're going to do. Take a felt tip pin. Go ahead and mark it in there. Get your spline tops too. Ideally you want to be hitting on those and not the radius or fillet. Radius is on the outside of a part, fillet's on the inside. That's an inside. Alright. I'll take this one and do the same thing. Wipe off the oil. Go and mark it on that. Same day you want to see it on the outside, not inside the chamfer. This one's a sharp edge, so it doesn't really have a chamfer in it. Still got some oil on this, so it's hard to mark it. Should be enough to do what we need to do. Alright. Looks like it's hitting right there. You can see the shiny mark there, but it's a little thin line. So you look at this and try to see where that thin line is at. I'm not really seeing it, but I know it's in there somewhere. So we need to modify this. So this hole's a lot bigger than the shaft, see? Oop. See? So it doesn't take much to eliminate the problem. So I could probably just use a ball counterbore in there maybe. If I have one this size, which I don't think I have one this big. Or I could just put it in a lathe and come in there and just give it a little kiss. So I'm not sure which way I want to do it. Yeah, one of those. Let's see, I don't think I have anything that's big to use to do it with, so I'm just going to hit it. Ah, I know what I can do. I don't know how hard this is, that's the big thing. We gotta find out if that's hard or soft. That we do not know. Easiest way to tell is get a file and mark it. Or if I can find my hand scraper, I can hand scrape it. Let's go see if I can find me a hand scraper. I think I got some carbide tools I remember buying. This is all my fancy new tools here, old tools. This is one of these down here. Yeah, something like this here. It's too small in diameter, I think. That's just high-speed steel anyway. Looks like the scraping tool right there. Thought I had another. I had a square tool on the bit on the end of it. Probably do somewhere. It's just not in that box. Crap around here, know where anything is anymore. Way too much crap. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Okay, this is just a piece of high-speed steel, semi-sharp. I'm just going to go in here and hand scrape it and see if it does anything. Sounds very hard. It's not doing anything. That means it's hard as hell. So that means you ain't cutting it with without a carbide bit. Okay, so that means we're going to use a carbide bit. So, which bit are we going to sacrifice? Look like they're all new bits. There's so much junk in the way around here. Get my leg in there. Let's see here. These all look new. That looks like a prime candidate waiting to be broken. That's a real stubby one. Yes, a good one right here. Yeah, it looks like it's waiting to be broken. Alright. I like ones that are waiting to be broken. Just go in there and do a little cut. Now this one I don't think will fit in there because of the dogs in the way. But it might fit. We're going to try. I don't think it will. There's no way it would. It would be wrong size. If you came in with the nose of it, you still couldn't get in there because it hit down the bottom. Alright. I'm going to work on that a little bit. You're going to do a little grinding stone. Like that. Grind it. That probably would be a bad way of doing it also. I don't want all that grinding grit in my bearing in there. Chips I can get out. Grinding grit, I'm not as happy with that. Okay, that one's out of the way. Okay, let's see. Way low. You go higher. All right. Angles matter. So that means we have an angle finder. It's got to be level or slightly downhill because it's hard as hell material. It looks like we are pretty close to neutral. We might be slightly uphill, part of a degree. Let's see, we're at on this way. We're way high on that. So that was too much height. Bring it down a lot by just doing that. Then I put negative in it. Well, actually I put positive in it. Definitely negative that way now. And this way, we still got a positive in it. It's going uphill like this. Yeah, that's pretty close. I think it'll work. If it doesn't work, it'll break it. Some light in there would be nice, but we don't need none of that. Maybe a flashlight would help. Yeah, it works pretty good. You can see in there now. I don't know if you can see in there. My big head's probably going to get in the way of the video, but I don't know if you can really see anything with the video in there. Probably not. Well, I can see. Kind of. A little bit. We do the same with marking it. So there's a little bit of a chamfer in there. A little bit of radius I was trying to do also. It is definitely hard ass material. It is not soft. Not by a long shot. Luckily, I don't think I need to do much to make it work. It's a good thing, because I didn't do much. I did do a lot. Took a good 15th thou off that corner. Okay. So we got that little mark right there. We can go ahead and mark it again and get rid of that mark. We're going to mark it up so it won't leave a mark. Does that make sense? Helps you see what I'm doing, right? All right. Let that dry a little bit. I think it's dry. Feels like it's hitting on something. Sitting on the outside edge. So you can see now it's hitting on the flat spot of the edge there. And the inside radius, see it's still all black. So, I think we're good. Camera down, I can see better. Can't see what we're looking at one like that. So see the shiny spots on top of the spline there? And you get the full dark radius in there. The fillet is dark, which means it is not hitting on it at all, which is what we wanted, not to hit on it. And over here you can see where it's hitting on the outside edge is kind of shiny. The fillet kind of looks shiny, but it's reflection of the black. It's black reflecting, it's not rubbed off. Alright, so that is how you do that. So now when this goes in here, like that, you should not be able to put anything in between that surface. Now if you want to know for sure if we don't get anything in there, we take a little shim stock. It's 1.5 thou or 2 thou. I think it's 1.5 thou. You stick it in there and pull on it, and it should not move. It should stay in there without falling out. See, it's in there. Have to push it, pull it out. Go over here and check this side over here. See if it's square. It's got tension on it, so it's definitely hitting on it now. Just like we want. Okay, now we're going to measure our distance between that and see what we get. See if it dropped in the 10th thou we needed. Because I'm not cutting it, it's heat treated. No damn way I'm going to cut that. And it doesn't look like it changed at all, which is kind of weird. You'd think it would have changed if it was really hitting inside that fillet at all. I guess it wasn't hitting hardly at all because it didn't do anything. Didn't change the length any. So we're about 10 thou more, 15 thou more gap, which I don't really like that much, but we'll have to live with it. Because the washer's too damn hard to cut. I can cut it, but it's going to be rough. Probably already chipped my bit just doing what I did. Alright, I'm good with that for now. Next thing I gotta check is the overall length. Make sure that's good. So one of the problems I have on a race bike is clutch release. Pressure plate hits right there. Locks the clutch up, won't release, hits. So I had to go in and hand grind that away on some of my racing bikes. This one I don't know if I did that on or not. So what we need to do is figure out the distance from here to here and see if it's different on that one. Or I can go from the tip to here, which basically gives me the same dimension. And it looks it's that much. You have to turn the machine on to, it helps to turn it on to measure. .544. .542. Take that one out. This one in. .530. .529.5. So this one's 30. Which one is this one? This is the old one. The new one is 15 thou too tall. Okay, so I'm going here. We're going to knock that down. 15 or 20 thou. Because we're at 30 to 44. It's 15 thou. So we're going to at least take off 15 thou. Might take a little extra. So we're going to go do that. I got to change a bit over here on the lathe to do that. Because someone's got it set for boring right now. We're done boring. I'm going to cut. Now, somehow I got to hold on to the, I got to cut here, so I got to hold this. It's got teeth on it, so it's not very even. So if the 18 divides by 6, it'll clamp on the outside of the teeth. So what does 6 divided by 18 or 18 divided by 6 equal? Figure that out yet? Times 3 is 18. It fits. It holds it nice and tight where it belongs. Okay, this is not happy about me cutting it, but it'll live. This bit is my nice new one. This is probably hard. I might change out her a bit. We'll see how hard it is. Maybe it'll cut. Center is, looks like we're close to center. For a straight tangent line. Slight low, but that's all right. Something would click like it broke the bit. Probably chipped a bit. I barely even touched it, but probably chipped it. Well, doesn't matter, we'll still cut. Alright, I'm going to cut 30 off of this and go and touch it off. Take our dial indicator. This is not a clock, it's a dial indicator. Someone asked that question once. Obviously, he was not a machinist. Okay, zero it. Seems too hard. Teeth don't seem very even. I wonder if my chuck's big enough to drop on the back side. Yeah, good deal. Yeah, it's not very even. we got to put the gear inside the jaws come down around the outside of this one. Pulls it a little bit square, straighter. Okay, zero again. Zero. Okay. That's hard. That bit's dull. Probably because I chipped it. That'd be my guess. It's definitely heat treated. Okay, there's 20 off. So let's go a little extra. There's a protesting bit. Those are threads. Not being happy. Quite sharp, but it's close. And with my honing stone, I'd probably stone it a little bit. It's my honing stone. Cut me now. I like that. Problem with hard materials, you gotta grind them. Alright, where's my nut? Here's the nut, works just fine on there. Good. Means it's a winner. Okay, let's see what we got. So we were at 30, I think, as I remember. 26. Hold it straight. 19. 18. 17. Okay, so we're a little bit less than what it was. So I don't have to worry about that bottoming out there, hopefully. This might be slightly more that way, so I'm compensating. So that should be less than we had, so it should be good. Because obviously this was the number we had before for the height. Governing that this might be different here, I don't know. I didn't measure the distance between here and here on the stock, the original shaft that we had. Guess I can check that real quick. I have it. So these have been cut and modified. So okay, this is the original setup that we had. $41. $43. Let's see what this combo has. $75. Massively different. That I do not like. $76. So that means my gear spacing is a way more than what I was running before. That will require some modifications. 40, 70, 30 thou difference. So that I might not appreciate. That's a big difference. Oof. I'm trying to get my gear stack tighter, not looser. So the combination of this gear and this shaft is a big difference. So what's the difference from? Is it in the gear or is it in the shaft? My guess is the shaft is the difference because we already measured the gears. There's 10 thou in the gear, remember difference. Still is 62 to 75, so it's about 12 thou difference. So this shaft here is longer than this shaft. So that's where the change is from. I can measure from this lip to this lip, I guess. Assuming that I'd cut these all the same. Don't know. Got a very large radius on that thing. Like about 11. 13. 25. 25. So you got 15 thou here and you got 10 there. It's 25 thou difference. Numbers add up. A little here, a little there. It starts turning to something. Alright, so I don't like that. So what are we going to do about that problem? So this is a ground surface. I don't really want to be modifying that too much. This is a heat treated surface over here, which is hard to work with. So my guess is that's easier to cut than the other stuff, but it's going to be a lot of cutting. 30 thou. Yeah. Alright, we'll be back a little bit, see what I'm going to do.